All right. Hey, guys, continue to look at some of the questions you guys had on the 9-6 homework. Again, love to hear from you guys. Love to hear the struggles you're having. That might not make you feel good, but it makes me feel good. So, one we're looking at here is number 40. And I've kind of got the picture up here already behind me. It talks about a rectangle whose length is 7 more than 5 times its width. And it has an area of 6. So I've just put that information up there. I gave it a width. I gave it a width of W. We don't know what the width is, but its length is 7 more than 5 times that. All right, so its length is 5 times W plus 7. And then it's got an area of 6. All right, now again, a couple key things. One is I think getting that label. Second, then, is realizing how do we find area? And area is base times height. All right, you might like length times width. I like base times height. So I'm just going to write that. So if I do the base, 5W plus 7 times the height times W, I get an answer of 6. So that's my equation for area. Length times width or base times height equals 6. So now I just have to solve this equation. All right. So I've got to do some distributing here. And again, I can distribute from the right just like I can from the left. So W times 5W is 5W squared. And W times 7 is 7W. And it still equals 6. Okay. And now maybe the light's coming on for some of you because now this is just going to be a quadratic to solve. So at any time during this, again, I've said this before in a couple of my other videos, when do you get a chance to hit the mute button on Mr. Smith? So go ahead and hit pause and try this, or just let it play, and let's see what we do here. So I've got a quadratic. I got to get it equal to 0. So I subtract 6 from both sides. So that gives me 5W squared plus 7W minus 6 equals 0. So here's the quadratic equation I want to solve. Again, I've got it equal to 0. I need to factor this left-hand side. I'm going to bring this down just a little bit so you can see more of the board here because I'm running out of space. So I need to factor this. And again, because of the 5 in front, I need to kind of do that factor by grouping. So 5 times negative 6 is negative 30. And now factors of negative 30 that add up to 7. Let's see, there's 15. Now again, one's going to have to be positive and one's going to have to be negative. So 15 and 2 won't do it. 6 and 5 won't do it. 10 and 3 will. All right. And if I want them to add up to positive 7, that's going to have to be a positive 10 and a negative 3. Okay, those multiply together to give me negative 30. And again, I got the negative 30 by multiplying these two numbers together. So those multiply together to give me negative 30, and they also add together to give me 7. All right, so now I'm ready to unsimplify or uncombine like grooms here. Like terms. I just said like grooms. Never mind. So many jokes. All right, so 5W squared plus 10W minus 3W minus 6 equals 0. And again, a little bit of a glare there, but I'm going to change that to, I'm going to change those to plus negative. I really want to keep those negative signs there. I group them, and now I factor 5W squared plus 10W. I look at what common term I can factor out there. So first of all, 5 and 10, I can factor out a 5, and then W squared and W, I can factor out a W. And then 5W times what gives me 5W squared? That's W, or you could write 1W. And 5W times what would give me 10W? That'd have to be plus 2. And now I look over here, negative 3W and negative 6. If I group those two together, I can factor out a negative 3. And negative 3 times what would give me negative 3W? And negative 3 times what would give me negative 6? That would be positive 2. And now I'm ready to, I see my like terms here, W plus 2. I see my like groups. I've got W plus 2, and then the other one is 5W plus negative 3, or I can write minus 3 equals 0. Get some things out of the way here. I said, and then give myself enough room to work here. So now I want to, again, I've got it factored. I've got it equal to 0. So now I can set each of these equal to 0. If I'm multiplying two things together and getting 0, one of these two things has to be 0. So either w plus 2 has to be 0, or 5w minus 3 has to be 0. And again, just for the sake of room, if you solve these here, I'm going to get w equals -2. And here, add 3 and divide by 5. It's a two-step equation. I'm going to get w equals 3/5. Okay. Now again, we've had this before in the other section. This answer, we've done nothing wrong, but it can't work because w here is a width. We can't have a width of -2. All right. So the width of this thing has to be 3/5. And I think it was in inches. All right, 3/5 of an inch. Okay. Now let me just check. Let me check real quick what they were asking for in number 40. What is the width? We don't even need to figure out what the length is. All right. So the width of this thing has to be 3/5 of an inch. Okay. So a couple key things here. First of all, getting that expression for the length, realizing the area formula, and then from there solving that equation, and then realizing, all right, this is a solution to that equation, but it's not an answer to our problem because W can't be negative. All right. So hopefully that helps. Again, this was number 40 on section 9.6. Again, don't hesitate to let me know of any other questions you guys have. All right. Take care.